I found them in our daughter's bedroom on the night I was supposed to read her favorite bedtime story about families who never leave. Let me tell you how a life ends. Not with violence, not with screaming, but with a door opened at the wrong moment, in the wrong room, on what should have been the happiest night of my daughter's year. Emma turned 5 today. 25 kids in our living room, Frozen-themed everything. Blue streamers, Elsa cake with 5 candles still flickering, tiny voices singing off key. My mother Grace was cutting cake slices. Sarah, my wife, was supposed to be upstairs getting the party favor bags from Emma's closet. I volunteered to grab Mr. Hoppy. Mr. Hoppy is Emma's stuffed rabbit. Gray, threadbare left ear from 5 years of being clutched during nightmares. She can't sleep without him, can't do anything scary without him. First day of kindergarten, doctor visits. That time we thought we'd lost him at the airport, and Emma screamed so hard she threw up. Mr. Hoppy isn't just a toy. He's a member of our family. I knew he'd fallen behind Emma's bed that morning. I was going to grab him before story time, surprise her with it right when she asked. That's the kind of dad I am. Was. I walked up the stairs, 25 kids below, laughing. My mother's voice calling out, "Who wants the Elsa piece?" Emma's high-pitched squeal of joy. I turned the hallway corner toward Emma's room, door slightly open. Not unusual. Sarah was probably already in there getting the favor bags. But when I opened Emma's bedroom door to grab Mr. Hoppy from behind the bed, I heard my best friend's voice saying my wife's name like a prayer. Not Sarah like you'd say a friend's name, Sarah like you'd whisper it. Sarah like you'd been waiting to say it all day. Sarah like every letter meant something I'd never understand. I stopped, hand on the doorknob. The door was open maybe 6 inches. Through the gap, I could see them. Sarah, my wife of 6 years, mother of my daughter, the woman who'd held my hand through my father's funeral, who'd stayed up all night with me during Emma's colic phase, who'd promised forever in a dress that cost more than my first car. And Josh, my best friend since college, best man at my wedding, godfather to Emma, the guy who helped me build Emma's crib, who loaned me money when my startup tanked, who'd been at every birthday, every Christmas, every single moment that mattered. They weren't just close, they were tangled. Sarah's back against Emma's princess bookshelf, the one I'd assembled while Emma sat in my lap, handing me screws. Josh's hand in her hair, her hand on his chest. And they were kissing like the world was ending. Not a peck, not a mistake. Kissing like they'd done this 1,000 times. Kissing like they knew exactly how this worked. I didn't move. Couldn't. My body went cold. Not hot, cold. Like someone had replaced my blood with ice water. Emma's bedroom, Emma's 5th birthday, while I was downstairs cutting her Elsa cake. I closed the door, slowly, quietly, made no sound. They never knew I was there. I walked back downstairs, 25 kids, my mother, Emma running toward me, frosting on her face, yelling, "Daddy, Daddy, did you get Mr. Hoppy?" I hadn't gotten Mr. Hoppy. "He's taking a nap, sweetheart," I said. My voice sounded normal. How was my voice normal? "We'll get him after everyone goes home." Emma grabbed my leg, hugged it tight. "I love you, Daddy. This is the best birthday ever." I looked down at her. 5 years old, purple dress Sarah had picked out, hair in pigtails I'd braided that morning because Sarah said she wasn't good at braids. Face covered in blue frosting and pure joy, and I thought, is she even mine? The thought came from nowhere, or maybe it didn't. Maybe it had been there all along, buried, waiting for a moment like this to claw its way up. Emma has Sarah's eyes. Everyone says that. Brown, wide, long lashes. But she doesn't have my nose, or my build, or my... Marcus? My mother's voice. Grace. Steady. Always steady. "You okay? You look pale." "I'm fine," I said. "Just need some water." I walked to the kitchen, filled a glass, stared at the blue streamers hanging from the ceiling. Frozen. Emma had insisted on Frozen because in Frozen, the sister never leaves. "Elsa and Anna stay together, Daddy, no matter what." That's what Emma said when we watched it for the 100th time. Families who never leave. I gripped the counter, white knuckles. Everything in me wanted to run back upstairs, throw open that door, scream until my voice broke. But I didn't. Because 25 kids were in my living room. Because Emma was 5. Because whatever hell was about to rain down, it wasn't starting today. Not on her birthday. Sarah came downstairs 10 minutes later. Hair perfect, lipstick unsmudged. Party favor bags in her hands, smiling like she'd just been organizing a closet. "Got them," she announced. Josh came down 3 minutes after that, grinning, slapping my shoulder. "Hey man, Emma's having a blast. Best Dad Award goes to you." I looked at him, really looked. This was Josh. I'd known him for 12 years. 12 years. He'd been in my wedding. He'd held Emma the day she was born. Tears in his eyes said, "She's perfect, Marcus. You're going to be an amazing dad." He looked me in the eye, didn't flinch, smiled, and I smiled back. "Thanks, Josh," I said. "Means a lot." The party ended at 7 p.m. Parents collected their kids. Grace helped clean up, kept giving me strange looks. "You sure you're okay?" she asked again. "Just tired," I lied. Grace left at 8. Sarah was upstairs giving Emma a bath. I could hear Emma's laugh echoing through the ceiling, that pure, unfiltered, 5-year-old giggle, the sound of someone who still believed the world was safe. I stood in the living room, surrounded by ripped wrapping paper and deflated balloons. The Elsa cake was mostly gone, just a corner piece left with a single candle blown out. On the coffee table, I saw it. Emma's drawing. She made it during the party while the other kids were playing pin the nose on Olaf. Construction paper, crayons, 4 stick figures, a tall one with brown hair. That was me. She'd drawn my glasses, a shorter one with a yellow dress, Sarah, a tiny one with purple pigtails, Emma herself, and a sun in the corner, big and yellow with her handwriting underneath. "My daddy makes sunshine." I picked up the drawing, stared at it. No Josh in this picture. Just the 3 of us, her family. I looked closer. In the corner, there was a smudge, like she'd drawn something, then erased it, pressed hard enough to leave an indent in the paper. "Who did you erase, Emma?" I thought. But when I turned the paper over, I saw the note she'd written on the back in her crooked 5-year-old handwriting. "My family. We don't leave. We don't leave." It was a line from her favorite book, The Forever Family, a kid's book about a little bear who gets separated from his birth parents but finds a new family, a papa bear who stays with him through everything. Emma made me read it every single night, every single night. The last page always made her smile. And the little bear knew his papa wasn't the one who made him. His papa was the one who stayed. Emma tugged my sleeve earlier today and whispered, "Daddy, why do you look like you're going to cry on my happy day?" "Because I was dying, sweetheart. Because I saw something I can never unsee." But I'd said, "Happy tears, Emma. Just happy tears." If you've ever had a moment that split your life into before and after, leave it below. You're not alone in this. I waited until Sarah put Emma to bed, listened to the sound of the story. The Forever Family, of course. Sarah's voice reading the words I'd read 1,000 times. The little bear's papa tucked him in and said, "I will never leave you, not ever. That's what papas do." Emma's voice, sleepy. "That's what my papa does too." Sarah, "That's right, baby." I wanted to throw up. At 9:47 p.m., Sarah came downstairs, smiled, kissed my cheek. Emma's out like a light. What a day, huh?" "Yeah," I said, "what a day." "I'm exhausted, going to take a shower and crash." "You do that." She went upstairs. I heard the bathroom door close. Water running. I pulled up my phone, hands shaking, scrolled to a name I never thought I'd need. David Brennan. Divorce attorney, guy I'd met at a work conference 2 years ago, We grabbed drinks, exchanged numbers, stayed loosely in touch. He'd given me his card, joked, "Hope you never need me, but if you do, I'm the best." I texted, "David, it's Marcus Chen. I need your help. Can you talk now? Urgent." 3 dots appeared immediately. "David, call me now." I grabbed my keys, walked outside to my car, sat in the driveway, engine off, called. David picked up on the first ring. "Marcus, what happened?" "I caught my wife with my best friend." Silence. Then, "Tonight?" "Hour ago, in my daughter's bedroom, during her birthday party." Jesus. I didn't confront them. I saw it, and I walked away. "Good," David said. His voice was calm, clinical. "That was smart." "Smart?" My voice cracked. "How is that smart? You should have done exactly what you did," David interrupted. "Listen to me, Marcus. You're in shock right now. That's normal. But the next 72 hours will determine everything. Don't do anything emotional. Don't confront anyone. Don't make threats. Just listen." I listened. "Here's what you're going to do," David said. "Document everything. Passwords, finances, communications, DNA test if you have any doubts about paternity." "Wait, what?" "Marcus, how old is your daughter?" 5. She just turned 5 today." "And you said your best friend was involved. How long has he been close to your wife?" My stomach dropped. "Years. Since before Emma was born." Silence on the line. Then David spoke, slower. "I'm not saying anything for certain, but if there's any part of you that has doubts, any timeline inconsistencies, any resemblances you've questioned, you need to know the truth before you file anything. Because if you're on the birth certificate and you file for divorce, you're legally on the hook for child support whether she's biologically yours or not." "She's mine," I said, automatic. "Emma is mine." "Then the test will prove that. But Marcus..." "No, she's mine." "Okay?" David's voice was gentle. "Okay, but I need you to think logically here. Document first, DNA test second, disappear third." "Disappear?" "Not literally, but you need to plan your exit. Get your ducks in a row. Don't sleep in the same bed. Don't have sex with her. That can complicate things legally. And start gathering evidence. Texts, emails, bank statements, anything that shows a pattern." My head was spinning. "Do you have access to her phone?" "She keeps it locked." "Computer, tablet, cloud backup?" I paused. "We share an iCloud family account for photos and stuff." "Perfect. Log in. Check her messages. They sync automatically if she has it enabled. Do it tonight while she's asleep. Screenshot everything. Dates, names, details. We need proof of the affair for any custody battle." "Custody battle?" My voice rose. "She's my daughter." "I know, and we're going to keep it that way. But you need to be strategic here, Marcus. Emotion loses cases. Evidence wins them." I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, staring at my house. Inside, my wife was showering. My daughter was sleeping. My life looked normal from the outside, but inside, everything was ash. "Document first," David repeated. "DNA test second, disappear third. Call me in 72 hours with what you find." "And Marcus?" "Yeah." "I'm sorry, I really am." He hung up. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, just breathing, trying to make my hands stop shaking. Then I went inside. Sarah was still in the shower. I could hear the water, hear her humming, like this was a normal night, like she hadn't just blown up our entire life. I walked into our home office, closed the door, turned on my laptop, logged into iCloud, held my breath, clicked on messages. And there it was. Everything, years of everything, texts from Sarah to Josh, thousands of them, going back 18 months, maybe more. I clicked on the most recent thread, today's date, Emma's birthday. Sarah: "Can't wait to see you later. Missed you." Josh: "Same, 3 p.m. work?" Sarah: "Perfect. He'll be busy with the party. No one will notice." My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the laptop. I scrolled up, further, weeks back, months back. Sarah: "I can't keep doing this. It's too hard." Josh, I know, but we'll figure it out. I love you. Sarah, I love you too. I stopped breathing, further back, 6 months ago. Josh, does he suspect anything? Sarah, no, he's clueless. He trusts you. Josh, good, that makes this easier. My chest felt like it was caving in, but then I saw the message that made everything worse. February 2019, 3 months before Emma was born. Josh, what if she's mine? Sarah, don't. We can't think like that. Josh, but what if she is? We should know. Sarah, it doesn't matter. Marcus will never find out. And even if, no, she's his. She has to be his. Josh, but Sarah, her eyes, the timeline, you said... Sarah, I said it doesn't matter. Drop it. I stared at the screen. Read it again. Again. 3 months before Emma was born, Josh asked if she was his, and Sarah didn't say no. She said it doesn't matter. I took screenshots, every message, every date, every line that proved they'd been lying to me for years. Then I saw another message, more recent, September this year. Sarah, Emma has his eyes though. She'll never know. Josh, his? Mine. Sarah, does it matter anymore? Josh, it matters to me. Sarah, then maybe we should find out, but not yet. Not until we're ready to tell him. Tell him. They were planning to tell me, eventually, when it was convenient for them. I felt something crack inside my chest, not my heart, something deeper, the foundation I'd built my entire life on. Emma with the brown eyes. Emma who didn't look like me. Emma who Sarah said was early when she was born. 8 months, not 9. Premature, the doctor said, but she was 7 pounds, 4 ounces, healthy, perfect. I'd never questioned it. Why would I? She was my daughter. Was she? I closed the laptop, stood up, walked to the bathroom, stared at myself in the mirror, 34 years old. Dark hair going gray at the temples from stress. Glasses, average height, nothing remarkable. Josh was tall, athletic, brown eyes like Emma's. Everyone always said Emma had Sarah's eyes. But what if they were Josh's? The shower turned off. Sarah would be out in minutes. I walked to Emma's room, stood in the doorway, watched her sleep. She was curled up on her side, Mr. Hoppy tucked under her chin, 5 years old, pigtails messy on the pillow, face peaceful. My daughter. Maybe. I thought about every moment, every diaper change, every 3 a.m. feeding, every nightmare where she cried for me, only me. I want my daddy. She'd scream when she fell at daycare, when she got sick, when she was scared. I'd been there every time. Not Josh, not Sarah's mystery lover, me. But maybe biology didn't care about that. I walked out, closed the door softly. The next morning, I ordered the DNA test. It arrived 3 days later. A small box, clinical, 23andMe, the medical version, not the ancestry one, for paternity confirmation. Inside, 2 cotton swabs, one for me, one for Emma, pre-stamped return envelope, instructions. Simple, the paper said. Rub swab inside cheek for 30 seconds. Seal, mail. Results in 10 to 15 business days. Simple. Nothing about this was simple. That night I told Emma I'd read her story. Sarah looked surprised. I usually do bedtimes, but she didn't argue. Maybe she was relieved. Maybe she wanted time to text Josh. I walked upstairs. Emma was already in her pajamas, sitting on her bed with the Forever Family book in her lap. Daddy, she bounced. You're doing story tonight. I am, sweetheart. Can we read the bear one? Of course. I sat on her bed. She crawled into my lap, pressed her head against my chest. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and toothpaste and that specific little kid's smell that's impossible to describe. Daddy? Yeah, Em? Why do you smell like home? My throat closed up. What do you mean? Your hands, they always smell like home, like safe. I looked down at her, this tiny person, 5 years of memories, 5 years of her calling me daddy, 5 years of her trusting me completely, and I was about to steal her DNA while she trusted me. Em, Can you open your mouth real quick? I think you might have some food stuck in your teeth from dinner. She opened wide. Ah! I pulled the swab from my pocket, rubbed it against her inner cheek. 30 seconds. She didn't question it. She trusted me. All done, I said, voice steady, hands shaking. Thanks, Daddy. She leaned back into me. Now, the story. I opened The Forever Family, started reading. My voice sounded normal. How was it normal? Once upon a time, there was a little bear who got lost in the woods. He couldn't find his mama or his papa. He was scared and alone. Emma listened, eyes heavy. She'd heard this story 1,000 times, could probably recite it. But then, I continued, he met a big bear, and the big bear said, "You don't have to be alone. I will take care of you." And the little bear asked, "But you're not my real papa." And the big bear said, "Real isn't about blood. Real is about who stays." Emma pressed her cheek into my palm. Your hands always make me feel safe, Daddy. I was stealing her DNA, and she trusted me completely. I kept reading, got to the last page, the one Emma always waited for. And the little bear's papa tucked him in and said, "I will never leave you, not ever. That's what papas do." And the little bear smiled and said, "We don't leave." Emma's eyes were closing. She murmured the last line with me, the line she'd memorized. "We don't leave." "That's right, Emma, we don't leave." She fell asleep in my arms. I sat there holding her, the DNA swab in my pocket, the test kit hidden in my car. I thought about the storybook, about the papa bear who wasn't the little bear's biological father but chose him anyway, about staying even when leaving would be easier. And I wondered, if the test came back negative, if Emma wasn't mine biologically, would I be the papa bear, or would I be the one who left? As I sealed the envelope the next morning before work, before Sarah woke up, I remembered Emma's words. "We don't leave. Right, Daddy? The papa always stays. Always. Always." I dropped the envelope in the mailbox, watched it disappear into the slot, and then I waited. 10 days. The DNA test processing time is 10 business days, which means 2 weeks of regular life, 2 weeks of waking up next to Sarah, 2 weeks of packing Emma's lunch with little notes tucked inside. "Love you to the moon, Em. Dad." 2 weeks of pretending I don't know everything. Day 1, I tell Sarah I'm stressed about work, need to sleep in the guest room for a few nights. She barely reacts. "Whatever you need, babe." Day 2, Emma asks why Daddy's sleeping in the other room. "Just snoring too much," I say, "keeping Mommy awake." Emma giggles, believes me completely. Day 3, Josh texts me. "Hey man, want to grab drinks? Haven't seen you since Emma's party." I stare at the message for 20 minutes. Finally reply, "Busy with work. Rain check?" He sends back a thumbs up. Day 4, I count Emma's lunch notes, 157 of them, every single school day since she started kindergarten, handwritten. "You're braver than you think. Can't wait to hear about your day. You make Daddy proud. I've saved the ones she's brought back home. They're in a Ziploc bag in my dresser. Evidence of what? That I showed up?" Day 5, Sarah asks if I'm okay. "You seem distant." I almost laugh. Distant. I'm standing 3 feet from her and I'm on another planet. "Just work," I say. She accepts it, goes back to her phone, probably texting him. Day 6, my coworker mentions I look terrible. "You sleeping?" "Not really. Every time I close my eyes, I see them in Emma's room against the bookshelf I built." Day 7, Emma draws another picture at school, brings it home, shows me. It's the 3 of us again, me, her, Sarah. But this time there's a 4th figure, smaller, standing apart. When I ask who it is, Emma says, "That's Uncle Josh. But I drew him far away because he's been busy lately and doesn't come over anymore." My stomach twists. Day 8. I check the mailbox 4 times. Nothing. Day 9, Sarah tells me Josh has been worried about me, says I should call him. "He's your best friend, Marcus. He cares about you." I want to scream. Instead, I say, I know, I will. Day 10, I can't eat, can't focus. My lawyer, David, calls. You doing okay? No. Hanging in there, I say. He tells me to stay strong. Whatever the results say, we move forward with evidence and strategy, not emotion. Day 11. The mailbox is empty again, but my hands shake every time I check it. Day 12. I'm standing outside Emma's preschool, waiting for pickup. Other parents chat about weekend plans. I'm counting ceiling tiles, trying not to throw up. Then I see it, the mail truck, pulling up to the cluster of mailboxes across the parking lot. I walk over, slow. My heart is a drum in my chest. I open the mailbox, and there it is, a white envelope, certified mail. Return address, Gene DX Laboratory Services. I stand there, parents walking past me, kids yelling, car doors slamming. I can't move. The envelope weighs nothing, but it feels like holding a bomb. I get back in my car, sit in the driver's seat, engine off. Emma's preschool is visible through the windshield, kids playing on the jungle gym, teachers supervising, everything bright and normal and alive. I look at the envelope, official letterhead, my name, Marcus Chen, test ID number 8847XK2024, date processed October 18th, 2024. I tear it open, 3 pages, dense text, medical terminology, graphs, percentages. I skip to the last page. The summary, paternity test results alleged. Father Marcus Chen, child Emma Chen, date of birth May 14th, 2019. Conclusion, Marcus Chen is excluded as the biological father of Emma Chen. Probability of paternity, 0.0% confidence. Interval, 99.9%, 0. Not unlikely. Not low probability. Not inconclusive, 0.0%. The paper shakes in my hands. I read it again. The words blur. I blink, read it again. Excluded. 0, not the father. I look up. Through the windshield, Emma is running across the playground, purple backpack bouncing. Her teacher is calling her name. It's pickup time. Emma sees my car. Her face lights up. She waves, both hands over her head. Huge smile. She starts running toward me, yelling something I can't hear through the glass. I watch her run, 5 years old, brown eyes shining, arms wide open. And when she reaches the car, yanks open the back door, throws her backpack in and climbs into her booster seat, she's breathless and laughing. Daddy, guess what? I painted a rainbow today and Miss Amy said it was the best one and she's going to hang it up in the hallway and everyone will see it. I stare at her in the rearview mirror. She's glowing, pure joy. That's amazing, Em, I say. My voice sounds normal. How is it normal? Can we get ice cream, please? I was so good today. Miss Amy said so. Sure, sweetheart, ice cream. She kicks her feet, happy, starts singing a song about rainbows. I look down at the paper in my lap. Probability of paternity, 0.0%. Emma isn't mine, but she's buckling her seatbelt in my car, asking me for ice cream, calling me daddy, trusting me completely. And I think biology is just science. But this is 5 years of every morning, every night, every scared moment, every proud moment. This is me. Or is it? I fold the paper, put it in the glove compartment, start the car. Chocolate or vanilla, Em? Chocolate with sprinkles. I drive to the ice cream shop, buy her a cone, sit across from her while she eats it, chocolate smeared on her face, telling me about her day. And the entire time one thought loops in my head. She's not mine. She's not mine. She's not mine. But when a glob of ice cream falls on her shirt and she looks up at me with panic, Daddy, I got messy. And I wipe it off with a napkin and say, It's okay, Em. Accidents happen. I've got you. She smiles. You always got me, Daddy. Do I? That night, I don't go home right away. I sit in my car outside David's office, call him. I got the results. I say, silence, then and. 0%, she's not mine. I hear David exhale. Marcus, I'm sorry. My voice cracks. I don't know what to do. Where are you? Sitting outside your building. Come up, now. I take the elevator to the 4th floor. David's waiting in his office doorway. Mid-50s, gray hair, kind eyes. He gestures me in, closes the door. Sit. I sit, hand him the paper. He reads it, slow, thorough, then sets it down. Okay, now we need the second test. Second test? Josh's paternity. We need to confirm he's the biological father. If he is, and if there's a custody battle, he could claim biological rights. My chest tightens. How do I... Does Josh have a drinking glass at your house? Toothbrush? Anything with his DNA? I think. He leaves a gym bag in my garage sometimes. There's probably, a water bottle, maybe a sweatshirt. Get them. Send them to this lab. David slides a card across the desk. They'll run it against Emma's profile. We need confirmation before we confront anyone. And if he is the father, David leans forward, then we have a fight. But Marcus, listen to me. You're on the birth certificate. You've raised her for 5 years. In family law, there's something called psychological parent doctrine. Biology matters, but so does bond. Courts look at who the child considers their parent. Who's been there? Who's created the attachment? Will that be enough? I don't know, David says, honest. But we build the strongest case we can. Daycare records, medical records, every receipt showing you were the one taking her to appointments, buying her clothes, feeding her. We show that you're her father in every way that matters. Every way except one, I think. There's something else, David says. The affair. We need Sarah to admit it on record. For custody. You want me to record her? Single-party consent state. Legal as long as you're part of the conversation. He opens a drawer, pulls out a small black device. Voice recorder, wear it, have a conversation. Get her to admit the timeline. Admit she knew there was doubt about paternity. Admit the affair. I stare at the recorder. You want me to wire myself in my own home. I want you to protect your daughter, David says, because the second you file for divorce and custody, Sarah's going to lawyer up. Josh might too. And if you don't have evidence, this becomes he said, she said. Evidence wins Marcus every time. Should he have confronted her directly or kept gathering evidence? Comment, confront, or wait. Curious what you'd do. I take the recorder. 3 days later, I have Josh's DNA. Water bottle from his gym bag, sent to the lab. Results in another 10 days. But I can't wait. I need to know what Sarah knows. It's a Thursday night. Emma's at my mother's house. Grace offered to babysit, said I looked like I needed a break. Sarah's surprised when I suggest we open a bottle of wine and just talk. Talk? She asks. Yeah, feel like we've been disconnected lately. She softens. I'd like that. The recorder is in my shirt pocket. On. We sit on the couch. I pour 2 glasses of red wine. Our wedding photo is on the mantle behind her, young, smiling, hopeful. That Marcus had no idea what was coming. So, I say, casual. How are you? Really? Sarah sighs. Tired. Emma's been a handful lately, and work is crazy. Yeah. I sip my wine. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you remember when Emma was born? How early she came? Sarah's hand tightens on her glass, just slightly. She was premature, 8 months. Why? Just thinking about it. She was so healthy, though. 7 pounds, 4 ounces, big for a preemie. Every baby is different, Marcus. Right, of course. I pause. Let the silence sit. Then, Sarah, if Emma wasn't mine, would you tell me? She goes very still. What kind of question is that? An honest one. She laughs, but it's wrong, forced. Why would you even... Would you? I lean forward. If you knew Emma might not be biologically mine, would you tell me, or would you let me believe a lie? Her face changes, the mask slips, just for a second. Marcus, because I found the messages, Sarah. Silence. Total silence. Her wine glass is frozen halfway to her mouth. What messages? iCloud backup, you and Josh, 18 months of messages. I read every single one. She sets the glass down, slow, careful. You went through my phone? Cloud backup, automatic sync, you should turn that off if you're going to have an affair. Marcus, February 2019, I say, voice steady, recorder running. 3 months before Emma was born, Josh asked, what if she's mine? You didn't say no, Sarah. You said, it doesn't matter. Her eyes fill with tears, but I don't stop. September this year, you told Josh, Emma has his eyes. His, not mine, his. Then Josh asked whose eyes, yours or mine, and you said, does it matter anymore? Stop. I had a DNA test done. She stands up, fast. You did what? I swabbed Emma's cheek, sent it to a lab. Got the results 3 days ago. You had no right. I have every right. My voice rises. First time I've raised it in weeks. She's my daughter. Or, wait, is she? Sarah's crying now, full tears. Marcus, please. The test came back, Sarah. 0% probability of paternity. 0. Emma isn't mine. She sinks back onto the couch, covers her face. Is she Josh's? Sarah doesn't answer. Sarah, look at me. Is Emma Josh's daughter? She lowers her hands, mascara running. I don't know. You don't know? I mean, there was a chance. I knew there was a chance. Her voice breaks. But I couldn't. You couldn't what? Tell me the truth? Let me know that the daughter I've raised might not be mine. You're her father, Sarah yells. You've been her father since the day she was born. That doesn't change. Except it does. I'm standing now. Because biology matters in custody court, Sarah. If Josh is her biological father and he wants rights, he won't. How do you know? How do you know what he'll do when this all comes out? She's sobbing, full body sobs. I'm sorry. God, Marcus, I'm so sorry. When did it start? The affair. She won't look at me. Sarah, when? Before Emma, she whispers. A few months before I got pregnant. My knees almost give out. You were sleeping with both of us. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. She can't. Just cries. I sit down, suddenly exhausted. Did you ever love me? Yes, she says, immediately. I do love you, Marcus. I don't. I hold up my hand. Don't say you love me while admitting you've been lying for 5 years. We sit in silence. The recorder is still running. Finally, I ask the question that's been eating me alive. Did you know Emma might not be mine when she was born? Sarah looks at me, eyes red, and nods. I suspected. The timeline, it could have been either of you, but I hoped. Her voice breaks. I prayed she was yours. Because you're good, Marcus. You're the good one. And I knew you'd be an amazing father. So you lied. I convinced myself it was true, that she was yours, that if I believed it hard enough, that's not how DNA works, Sarah. She buries her face in her hands. I know. God, I know. I stand up, take the wine glasses to the sink, turn off the recorder in my pocket. I have everything I need. I'm filing for divorce, I say, quiet, calm, and I'm fighting for full custody of Emma. Sarah's head snaps up. You can't. Watch me. Marcus, she's my daughter. She's mine. The words come out hard, final. I don't care what the DNA says. I've been her father every single day for 5 years. Every nightmare, every fever, every first. That's not biology, Sarah. That's choice. And I chose her every single day. Sarah stares at me. Josh will fight you. Let him. He's her biological father. He's a name on a DNA test. I'm her daddy. There's a difference. I walk toward the stairs. Stop at the bottom. Turn back. By the way, I say, your mother called earlier. Nancy wants to come over this weekend. I told her sure. Might be a good time to explain to her why her grandson-in-law is filing for divorce. I'm sure she'll be very interested in the timeline. Sarah goes pale. Marcus, please don't. Don't what? Tell the truth? Isn't that what you should have done 5 years ago? I go upstairs, pack a bag, essentials, toothbrush, clothes, laptop. When I come back down, Sarah's exactly where I left her, frozen on the couch. Where are you going? She asks. Hotel. I'll pick up Emma from my mom's tomorrow morning, take her to school, continue being her father. You know, what I've been doing this whole time. Marcus, one more thing, I say at the door. I've documented everything, messages, finances, the recording from tonight. My lawyer has all of it. So if you're thinking about spinning this somehow, about making me the bad guy, don't. The evidence speaks for itself. I leave. Drive to a hotel 3 miles away, check in, sit on the bed, stare at the wall, pull out my phone. Text Grace. Can you keep Emma tonight? I'll explain everything tomorrow. Just, I need her safe with you. Grace responds immediately. Of course, baby. Are you okay? I don't answer. Instead, I open my photos. Scroll through 5 years of Emma. First smile, first steps, first day of preschool, Halloween costumes, Christmas mornings, beach trips, bedtime stories. 5 years, 0%. I cry for the first time since I found them, alone in a hotel room, crying for the daughter who isn't mine but is, for the life I thought I had, for the family that was built on a lie. But mostly I cry because I know, even after everything, I'm not leaving her. Biology might say she's not mine, but 5 years of love says different. The second envelope arrives 9 days later. Josh's DNA test results, cross-referenced with Emma's profile. David calls me. You sitting down? Just tell me. 99.997% probability, Josh is Emma's biological father. I don't react. I already knew, but hearing it confirmed, it's different. What now? I ask. Now we file. Divorce and emergency custody petition. I'm citing parental alienation, infidelity, and fraud. We're requesting Emma remain in your primary custody based on de facto parent status. Will it work? It's going to be a fight, Marcus. Josh can claim biological rights. Sarah will fight too. But we have evidence on our side. And more importantly, we have 5 years of you being Emma's dad. Set it up. I hang up, look at the results, the numbers. Probability of paternity, Josh, Emma. 97% on paper, Josh is her father. But he's never read her a bedtime story. Never held her through a fever. Never taught her to tie her shoes. To say please and thank you. To be brave when she's scared. He's her biology. I'm her dad. There's a difference. I'm back in my house. Sarah's staying with her parents temporarily. Grace has been watching Emma, telling her mommy and daddy are working through some grown-up stuff. Emma asks me every day, when is mommy coming home? I don't know how to answer, so I say, soon, baby, soon. Tonight, I'm going through finances, trying to divide 5 years of marriage into line items. And that's when I see it. Bank statements, our joint account, organized by date, transfers to an external account, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, small amounts at first, $200, $300, then bigger, $1,000, $20,500, all to the same account, Joshua Brennan. I add them up, my hands shaking, $47,000. Over 18 months, Sarah transferred $47,000 to Josh. I click on the Venmo history, read the memo lines. For us, future plans, can't wait. Israel Dad Fund, Israel Dad Fund, Emma's Real Dad Fund. While I was working 60-hour weeks to support our family, Sarah was sending our money to Josh, planning a future with him, with E's real dad. I scroll further, find the largest single transfer, March 2023, $12,000. Memo, weekend in Cabo. March 2023, Emma was 4. She had pneumonia, was hospitalized for 3 days. I slept on a cot next to her bed, held her hand, sang to her when she couldn't sleep. Sarah said she needed a break for the weekend, said her sister needed her. She went to Cabo with Josh. On $12,000 from our account while I was in a hospital room with our daughter. I stand up, walk to the kitchen, pour a glass of water. My hands are shaking so hard I spill it. The accountant I hired, David recommended him, calls an hour later. Marcus, it's Ron. Finished the forensic audit you requested. And your wife's been siphoning funds for 2 years. Nearly $50,000 total. Most of it to Joshua Brennan. Some to a separate checking account in her name only. Opened in January 2023. What else? Credit card charges, hotels, restaurants, all in cities where Josh was traveling for work. She matched his schedule, flights, accommodations, all from your joint accounts and credit cards. She used our money. Yes, and there's more. She opened a savings account in August. Listed beneficiary Joshua Brennan and Emma Chen, not you. My vision blurs. She was planning to leave. Or planning for Josh to fight for custody. Either way, she was preparing. This wasn't impulsive, Marcus. This was systematic. I hang up, sit in the dark kitchen. The memo line loops in my head. E's Real Dad Fund, not Emma's college fund, not Emma's future. E's real dad. They were planning this, planning to push me out, replace me. While I was packing Emma's lunches, reading her bedtime stories, loving her with everything in me, they were planning my erasure. I think about Emma, right now, at Grace's house, probably asleep, probably clutching Mr. Hoppy, having no idea that her entire world is about to change. And I make a decision. I'm not going anywhere. I don't care what the DNA says. I don't care how much money Sarah stole. I don't care that Josh has biology on his side. Emma is mine. And I'm going to fight for her like she's always been mine. Because in every way that matters, she is. I open my laptop, email David, file the custody petition tomorrow morning. Full custody, emergency hearing. I want Emma with me. He responds in 3 minutes. On it, get some sleep. We go to war tomorrow. I don't sleep. I sit up all night, looking at photos of Emma, thinking about the test results, the betrayal, the money, the lies. And I think about a line from The Forever Family, Emma's favorite book. The Papa Bear wasn't the one who made the little bear. He was the one who stayed. I'm the one who stayed. Biology doesn't change that. The courthouse is gray. Everything in family court is gray. Walls, floors, the folders stacked on tables, even the faces of people waiting. I'm sitting in the hallway outside courtroom 4C. 8:47 a.m. emergency custody hearing scheduled for 9. David sits next to me reviewing documents. Remember, he says, stay calm, answer questions directly, don't let them provoke you. Across the hall, Sarah sits with her lawyer. A woman in a sharp suit, expensive. Sarah's eyes are red, been crying, she won't look at me. And next to them, Josh. He showed up. Of course he showed up. He's wearing a button-down shirt, khakis, trying to look respectable, fatherly. His lawyer is with him, tall guy, mid-40s, already looking smug. Josh catches my eye, has the audacity to nod at me, like we're still friends, like he didn't sleep with my wife, father my daughter, steal my life. I don't nod back. David taps my arm. Josh filed a counter motion this morning. What? He slides a document across. Motion to establish paternity rights. He's claiming biological father status, requesting joint custody. My stomach drops. He's fighting for Emma? He's claiming he didn't know until recently, says Sarah confirmed paternity last week, says he has a right to know his daughter. His daughter? My voice rises. An older couple waiting nearby glances over. I lower it. He's known for months, maybe years. He and Sarah discussed it in messages, February 2019. We have those messages, we'll use them, but Marcus, his lawyer, is going to argue biology. And unfortunately, biology is a strong argument in custody law. What about psychological parent doctrine? We're using it, but it's not guaranteed. That's why we need every piece of evidence showing you've been Emma's primary caregiver. Daycare records, medical appointments, everything. I have them. Good. because Josh's lawyer is going to paint him as a victim, kept from his daughter by a lying mother and a possessive stepfather. I'm not her stepfather, I'm her dad. I know, and we're going to prove that. The courtroom doors open. A bailiff steps out. Chen, custody matter, we're ready. Here's the question. Should biology trump 5 years of being a father? There's no easy answer. Leave your truth below. Inside the courtroom is exactly what you'd expect. Wood paneling, judge's bench elevated, American flag, the seal of the state behind the bench. Judge Patricia Morrison presides. Mid-60s, no-nonsense expression, reading glasses perched on her nose. She's seen 1,000 custody battles. We're just another one. Good morning, she says. I've reviewed the emergency petition filed by Mr. Marcus Chen requesting primary custody of the minor child Emma Chen, age 5. I've also reviewed the counter motion filed by Mr. Joshua Brennan requesting establishment of paternity and joint custody. This is an unusual situation. Unusual. That's one word for it. Mr. Chen, Judge Morrison looks at me. You're listed on the birth certificate as Emma's father, correct? Yes, Your Honor. But recent DNA testing has excluded you as the biological father. Yes, Your Honor. And Mr. Brennan, you've submitted DNA evidence establishing you as the biological father? Josh's lawyer stands. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brennan only recently learned of his paternity. He wishes to establish a relationship with his daughter. Your Honor, David stands. Mr. Chen has been Emma's sole psychological parent since birth. He's been present for every significant moment in her life. He's the only father Emma has ever known. While biology is a factor, it's not the only factor in determining custody. Judge Morrison nods. I'm aware of the doctrine, counselor. That's why we're here. She looks at her notes. I'm ordering a full evaluation. Court-appointed psychologist will interview the child, both parents, and Mr. Brennan. We'll reconvene in 30 days. Your Honor, David interrupts, we're requesting Emma remain in Mr. Chen's custody during the evaluation period. She's been staying with Mr. Chen's mother due to the marital separation. We believe any disruption to her routine would be harmful. Sarah's lawyer stands. Your Honor, Mrs. Chen is the child's mother. She has equal rights. Mrs. Chen engaged in an extramarital affair and committed paternity fraud. David cuts in. She's also transferred nearly $50,000 in marital funds to Mr. Brennan without Mr. Chen's knowledge. We have documentation. Judge Morrison raises her hand. I've seen the financial records. Mrs. Chen will address that separately. For now, my concern is the child's welfare. She looks at all of us. I'm ordering a temporary custody arrangement. Emma will remain in Mr. Chen's primary physical custody pending evaluation. Mrs. Chen gets supervised visitation. Supervised? Sarah's voice cracks. Given the circumstances, yes. Mr. Brennan, she looks at Josh, you'll have no contact with the child until the evaluation is complete, and this court determines what relationship, if any, you'll have moving forward. Josh's lawyer starts to argue, but Judge Morrison cuts him off. Mr. Brennan's name is not on the birth certificate. He has no established relationship with this child. Biology alone doesn't grant automatic custody. We'll determine parental fitness through proper channels. Court adjourned. 30 days. The gavel strikes. I exhale. Didn't realize I was holding my breath. David squeezes my shoulder. You got her. For now. For now. The evaluation process is brutal. A court-appointed psychologist, Dr. Sarah Vance, late 40s, kind eyes, interviews me for 3 hours, asks about everything, how I met Sarah, Emma's birth, daily routines, bedtime rituals, discipline methods, medical history. Tell me about a typical morning with Emma, she says. I describe it. Wake up at 6:30, make breakfast, usually pancakes or oatmeal, pack her lunch, turkey sandwich, apple slices, juice box, note tucked inside, drive her to school, walk her to the classroom. She hugs me goodbye every morning, says, "Love you, Daddy," at the door. Every morning, Dr. Vance asks. Every single one. She writes something down. And bedtime? Story time. Always. Her favorite book is The Forever Family. We've read it, I pause, calculate, 1,847 times. I counted once when she asked. Dr. Vance looks up. You counted. Emma asked how many times we'd read it. I went back through the calendar, every night since she could understand stories, sometimes twice if she had a nightmare. More notes. Mr. Chen, you understand that you're not Emma's biological father? Yes. How does that make you feel? I think about the question, really think. It doesn't change anything, I finally say. Emma is my daughter, not because of DNA, because I chose her every day, every moment, and she chose me back. Dr. Vance's pen stops moving. She looks at me. She chose you? Yeah, kids. They know who their people are. Emma knows I'm hers, and I know she's mine. A week later, Dr. Vance interviews Emma. I'm not allowed in the room. Neither is Sarah. Just Emma, Dr. Vance, and a child advocate. I wait in the hallway for 90 minutes, pacing. Grace sits in a chair, praying silently, hands folded. When the door opens, Emma runs out first, sees me. Her face lights up. Daddy! She crashes into my legs, wraps her arms around me. I pick her up. She buries her face in my neck. How'd it go, Em? Good. The nice lady asked me lots of questions. I told her about you. My chest tightens. Yeah? What did you say? I said you're the best daddy in the whole world, and you never miss bedtime, and you make me feel safe. I hold her tighter. Dr. Vance steps out, catches my eye, nods once. I don't know what it means, but it feels like hope. 2 weeks into the evaluation, Grace asked me to come over. I need to give you something, she says on the phone. I drive to her house, small, tidy, smells like lavender and old books. Grace is waiting on the porch. Come inside, baby. We sit in her living room. She hands me an envelope, blue stationery, handwritten. What's this? A letter. I wrote it last night. Couldn't sleep. Been thinking about everything you're going through. About Emma. About what it means to be a father. She pauses. I think you need to read it before the hearing. I open the envelope. 3 pages. Grace's careful cursive. My dearest Marcus, I've been watching you these past weeks. Watching you fight for Emma. Watching you break and rebuild yourself every day. And I need to tell you something I should have told you years ago. Your father, the man you call Dad, the man who raised you, who walked you down the aisle at your wedding, who taught you to ride a bike and drive a car, he's not your biological father. I stop reading, look up at Grace. What? She's crying, quiet tears. Keep reading. You were 3 years old when I married Thomas. Your biological father left when you were 6 months old. Didn't want the responsibility. Didn't want you. But Thomas, he chose you. From the first day he met you, he chose you. I never told you because it didn't matter. To him, you were his son. Not his stepson. Not his wife's kid. His son. He loved you exactly the same as if you'd shared his blood. And you never questioned it because love doesn't need biology to be real. My hands are shaking. Marcus, I'm telling you this now because I need you to understand. Being a father has nothing to do with DNA. It's about showing up. It's about choosing to stay when leaving would be easier. It's about reading the same story 1,847 times because it makes your child feel safe. Thomas chose you, and you chose Emma. That's what makes you both fathers, not blood. Choice. The courts might argue about biology, lawyers might talk about paternity rights, but Emma knows the truth. She knows who her daddy is. She's always known. So don't you dare let a test result tell you you're not her father. You've been her father since the day she was born, and you'll be her father until the day you die. That's not biology, son. That's love, and love is stronger than any DNA test. I'm so proud of you. Dad would be too. Love always, Mom. I finish reading, can't see the last page through tears. I didn't know, I whisper. I know, baby. I never wanted you to feel different. To Thomas, you weren't. You were just his son. Dad never thought of you as anything but his boy. The day we got married, he said to me, Grace, Marcus is mine now. Doesn't matter what any paper says, he's mine. And he meant it. I think about Dad. Thomas Chen died 3 years ago from cancer, held my hand at the end, called me his son, told me he was proud of me. Not his biological son, his chosen son, just like Emma is my chosen daughter. Grace, I say, voice breaking, what if the court can say whatever it wants. Grace interrupts, doesn't change the truth. Emma is yours, you're hers. That's not up to a judge. She pulls another folder from the side table. Here. I open it. Inside, my birth certificate, original. My biological father's name, someone I've never met, crossed out. Thomas Chen's name written in pen above it. Just like mine might be crossed off Emma's. But unlike my biological father, I'm not leaving. Your father chose you, Grace says softly, just like you chose Emma. Blood doesn't make family, son. Staying does. I look at the letter again, the last line. That's not biology, son. That's love. And love is stronger than any DNA test. I fold the letter, put it back in the envelope. Thank you, I whisper. Grace pulls me into a hug. You're her father, Marcus. Don't you forget it. 3 weeks after the evaluation begins, David calls. They want Emma to testify. What? She's 5 years old. Not testimony in the traditional sense. Judge Morrison wants to speak with her privately. Age-appropriate conversation, child advocate present, just to understand who Emma considers her primary attachment figure. They're going to ask her to choose. In a way, but Morrison is good with kids. She won't traumatize her. She'll just listen. And if Emma says, I can't finish the sentence, Marcus, Emma calls you daddy. She runs to you. She asks for you. That kid knows exactly who her father is. I hope he's right. The day of Emma's interview, I'm a wreck. I can't go in with her. Court rules. Just Emma, Judge Morrison, Dr. Vance, and the child advocate in the judge's chambers. I wait outside with Grace. Sarah's there too with her lawyer. Josh is there, his lawyer. All of us waiting to hear what a 5-year-old says about who she belongs with. The door opens after 40 minutes. The child advocate steps out. Emma's still inside. The advocate looks at me. Small smile. Doesn't say anything. Just nods. 20 minutes later, Emma emerges, holding Mr. Hoppy. She sees me. Daddy! Runs straight into my arms. Not to Sarah. Not to anyone else. To me. I pick her up. She wraps her legs around my waist, arms around my neck, face buried in my shoulder. How was it, Em? Good. The judge is really nice. She asked me about you. Yeah? What did you tell her? Emma pulls back. Looks at me with those big brown eyes, Josh's eyes, Sarah's eyes, not mine. But in them, I see everything that matters. I told her you're my daddy, and daddies are the ones who stay when you're scared. And you never miss stories, not ever, and you promised you'd never let anything hurt me, and you keep your promises. My throat closes up. Yeah, baby, I keep my promises. I know. She presses her forehead to mine. That's why you're my daddy. The final hearing is 2 days later. Courtroom 4C, same gray walls, same wooden benches, but this time there's a weight in the air. Final decision day. Judge Morrison enters. We all stand, sit when she does. I've reviewed the evaluation reports from Dr. Vance, she begins. I've reviewed the financial records, text message evidence, and testimonies from both parties. I've also spoken with Emma Chen privately. She looks at me, then at Josh, then at Sarah. This case presents a unique challenge. On one hand, we have biological paternity established by DNA evidence. Mr. Brennan is Emma's biological father. That is scientific fact. Josh's lawyer sits up straighter. However, Judge Morrison continues, family law recognizes more than biology. It recognizes psychological bonds. The de facto parent doctrine exists because courts understand that a child's welfare depends not on genetics, but on attachment, stability, and love. She picks up a document. Dr. Vance's evaluation is conclusive. Emma Chen has a secure attachment to Marcus Chen. She refers to him as Daddy. She seeks him for comfort, safety, and guidance. She has no relationship with Mr. Brennan. She doesn't know him as a father figure. Your Honor, Josh's lawyer stands. Mr. Brennan was deliberately kept from... Sit down, counselor. Judge Morrison's voice is sharp. Mr. Brennan engaged in an affair with a married woman. He knew paternity was in question as early as February 2019, 3 months before Emma was born. Text evidence confirms this. He chose not to establish paternity then. He chose not to pursue a relationship with Emma for 5 years. That was his choice. Josh's face goes red. Mr. Chen, on the other hand, has been Emma's primary caregiver since birth. Hospital records show he was present at delivery. Daycare records show 157 consecutive days of sign-in and pickup. Medical records show he attended every pediatric appointment. Teacher statements describe him as extremely involved. And the child herself, when asked who she wants as her primary home, chose Mr. Chen. I can barely breathe. This court finds that Marcus Chen is Emma's de facto parent. He has functioned as her father in every meaningful capacity. Biology, while relevant, is not determinative when a child's welfare is at stake. Judge Morrison looks directly at Josh. Mr. Brennan, you have the right to pursue a relationship with Emma through supervised visitation should you choose, but you do not have the right to disrupt this child's life simply because you share DNA. Fatherhood is not a biological credential. It's a daily commitment. She turns to me. Mr. Chen, this court awards you primary physical and legal custody of Emma Chen. Mrs. Chen will have supervised visitation pending resolution of the divorce proceedings. Mr. Brennan's request for custody is denied. However, he may petition for supervised visitation at a later date, subject to Emma's best interests. The gavel comes down. Court is adjourned. I don't move. Can't process it. David grabs my arm. You won. Marcus, you won. Across the room, Josh stands up, stares at me. His lawyer is already packing up, shaking his head. Josh looks defeated, lost. Good. Sarah is crying. But I don't care. I've spent 5 years caring about Sarah's feelings. I'm done. Grace grabs me from behind, hugs me tight. I told you, baby, I told you. That night, Emma comes home, really comes home, not temporary, not supervised, home. Grace drops her off at 6 p.m. Emma bursts through the door, backpack bouncing, Mr. Hoppy in one hand. Daddy, I missed you. I missed you too, Em. So much. She runs to her room, looks around. Everything's the same. Of course it is. This is your home. She climbs onto her bed, bounces. Can we read the story tonight? The Forever Family? Yeah. I grab the book from her shelf. The spine is cracked exactly in half from 847 readings, maybe more now. We settle in, Emma in my lap, head against my chest. Mr. Hoppy clutched in her arms. I open the book. Once upon a time, I begin, there was a little bear who got lost in the woods. Emma's eyes are already closing. She knows the story by heart. And then he met a big bear. And the big bear said, you don't have to be alone. I will take care of you. Emma's breathing slows, almost asleep. But you're not my real papa, the little bear said. And the big bear smiled and said, real isn't about blood. Real is about who stays. I get to the last page, the one Emma loves most. And the little bear's papa tucked him in and said, I will never leave you, not ever. That's what papas do. And the little bear whispered. Emma finishes the line with me, barely awake. We don't leave. That's right, Em. We don't leave. She's asleep now, breathing soft and steady, safe. I sit there, holding her. This little girl who isn't mine biologically, but is mine in every way that matters. I think about the judge's words. Fatherhood is not a biological credential. It's a daily commitment. I think about Grace's letter. Your father chose you, just like you chose Emma. I think about Thomas, Dad, who raised me as his son without ever needing a DNA test to prove it. And I think about Emma, 5 years old, brown eyes I didn't give her, smile that lights up my world, voice that calls me Daddy. Biology doesn't make family, choice does, staying does. I carry Emma to her bed, tuck her in, Mr. Hoppy under her arm, kiss her forehead. Love you, Emma, I whisper, to the moon and back. She doesn't wake up, but she smiles in her sleep. I walk to the bookshelf, pick up The Forever Family. Look at the last page one more time. The illustration shows the Papa Bear and Little Bear side by side looking at stars. The text underneath reads, "And the little bear knew love isn't about where you come from. It's about who stays." I close the book, put it back on the shelf. Tomorrow, Emma will ask me to read it again, and I will, because that's what fathers do, not biological fathers, not DNA fathers, real fathers, the ones who stay. If Emma's words hit you, if you've ever been chosen by someone when you weren't supposed to be theirs, leave below. Found family is real family. 3 months later, the divorce is finalized. Sarah gets supervised visitation every other weekend. Josh never filed for visitation rights. Heard he moved to another state, started over. Good. Emma's doing okay. Some days are hard. She asks about mommy, asks why things changed. I tell her the truth, age-appropriate version. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, but you are not a mistake. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. She accepts this. Kids are resilient. We have a new routine now, just the two of us. And Grace, who comes over 3 times a week, cooks dinner, helps with bedtime. Tonight, after dinner, Emma is drawing at the kitchen table. Construction paper and crayons, tongue sticking out in concentration. "What are you making, Em?" "A picture, for you." She finishes, holds it up proudly. 2 stick figures, one tall with glasses, one small with pigtails. A yellow sun in the corner, a house, a tree, and at the bottom, in her crooked 6-year-old handwriting, "My daddy and me, we don't leave." I take the picture, stare at it. Tears blur my vision. "It's perfect, Em." "You like it?" "I love it." She grins. "I'm going to make more, one for every room." "Sounds like a plan." She goes back to drawing, happy, safe, home. I take the picture to the refrigerator, hang it up with a magnet, right next to the old one, the one from her 5th birthday party, with the erased 4th figure. 2 pictures, before and after, before I knew the truth, after I fought for it. But the truth isn't about DNA. It never was. The truth is in the pictures Emma draws, in the stories we read, in the way she runs to me when she's scared, calls me when she's happy, trusts me completely. The truth is, love is a choice, and I choose her every single day. Biology said no, but I said yes, and that made all the difference.